afternoon, everyone. I hope you are doing well today. So this is day 13 of the yoga challenge. So we're gonna have another sit down video. And I would like to talk about kind of releasing and the death of the things that come up during our practice. So when we get on our mat, we are faced with a lot of things that we're holding on to. You know, we hold emotions in our body. So as we move our body, those emotions are being released. We start to face things within ourselves. So some of the limiting beliefs, some of the self-criticism, the expectations that we have of ourselves. We face sometimes contemplating things in our lives that aren't working, you know, and it can, as we peel back those layers and as we kind of get to know ourselves more through this physical practice, through this kind of emotional connection back to ourselves, we start to kind of face the things in our lives around us that aren't working anymore. And I've talked about this in previous videos of just getting to those places where it's just not working anymore. Things are not working anymore. And it doesn't mean that what did work is not valued in any way. It had a purpose and it had a time, right? But as we grow and as we evolve, we have to let go of things. We have to be able to move into something new, to be able to create space for new things to come into this existence, right? So when we're on the yoga mat in corpse pose, which is Shavasana, so in English it's corpse pose, and it's very fitting for me and my understanding. I feel like it's so fitting. We go into Shavasana at the end of the practice and have that time to reflect on the things in our lives that are working and not working, and how can we bring this peace and calm on the mat, off the mat, into our lives. And it's a very releasing place. And I've talked about this before, like I've cried more than a few times in Shavasana as a release, because it is a place of reflection and connection, right? And when we go from corpse pose, so Shavasana, into rolling onto our sides into the fetal position, it's so fitting as well. You know, you go through this death of your practice, this death of all these things that have come up, and now we're moving into that rebirth. We're moving into that fetal position of like creating space for new perspective, new beginnings, new awareness. And then we come up to our mat and we come up into seated, and you know, we end the practice. And it's so fitting for what life is really about. You know, it's about the kind of the working through the process on our mat, and then coming to the end where we really reflect and we let go of those things that just aren't serving us anymore. And then we come into that rebirth and that new beginning, and then kind of come up to that, you know, seated position where we're ready to move through those new beginnings and see it with new perspective and being open to new things. So on your mat, be okay with releasing, being okay with reflecting, and being okay with recognizing that, you know, the things in life that worked at one point might not work anymore, and that's okay. That doesn't mean that there's anything wrong necessarily. It just means that you're growing and changing, and your practice is going to change. Your day-to-day practice, your month-to-month, your year-to-year practice is going to change. So that's just a part of growing, and it's a part of, you know, gaining that reconnection and wisdom through that reconnection back to ourselves, right? So this brings me to part of the topic I wanted to tie into this, which is saying goodbye to Earth Connections. So I started Earth Connections, I think it was about 3 years ago now, and it started as just a blog site and just sharing my thoughts and writing, and it's kind of guided me through, you know, getting some training, some meditation, and my Reiki and my yoga. But as you all know, I had a huge shift in my life. I've you know, uprooted my family. I faced a lot of my own fears, a lot of my own limiting beliefs, and I moved to this life that I wanted, that I dreamt about, that I desired for so long. And through the fear, I created this new beginning, this whole new life, right? And I feel like when you go through something like that, and going from where I was really sick 2 years ago to being able to be here and create what I've created and kind of manifest this move and manifest this shift, it just changes you. It changes who you are, how you see things, how you want to be. So with that, when I got here, I knew that Earth Connections wasn't right for me anymore. And I knew that it was time to let it go. And so even though there's always that grief with a death, there's also this excitement of a new beginning. So, so I have really thought about and been working really hard behind the scenes, behind what you guys see, to get a website up and running, to get a new name, to grow something kind of more expansive that covers more things that I enjoy, more things that I love. I want to have more offerings for you guys online. I want to have more, just more things, more expansive. And I wanted it to really fit with how I feel in my journey in the last couple of years. So obviously, if you've been following me for a while, you know about, kind of me getting really sick and kind of working my way through recovery here. And so I really wanted to tie that into the name change. So I'll briefly explain the name change to you guys, but I wanted to kind of bring this up now. I was going to wait till the 30 days is up of this challenge, but I'm in the midst of shifting names and stuff, so websites are going to be disappearing. The YouTube channel is different than the Facebook because I haven't changed it. So now that I'm putting videos on YouTube, it's now going to be kind of like confusing for people. So this is why we're talking about it now, and I'm going to be changing things. So if you see things changing, that's what's happening. The name, the website, there's going to be a whole lot of new things coming in the next few months. So I'm super excited for that. And I don't want to say too much yet. I want it to kind of be a surprise, but there's so much coming, and I'm hoping that it will just move me into kind of the next level for me, the next beginning, the new beginning for me. So I'm still here. I'll still be posting blogs. I'm still doing videos, still sharing my journey. But I'm hoping that it's going to be a little bit more broader and stuff that you can access online for the people that don't live where I live, right? So very briefly on the name. So I had to really, really reflect on the name. So when I was really sick 2 years ago, and I was at my most frail, weakest, smallest I've ever been, I had this urge to go to the mountains, and there's a place near where we lived in Alberta, and for the people who know me will know, it was Abraham Lake, so out by Nordig, and I just had this calling, like this inner calling, like I need to go, like I'm ready to go. And I had been kind of cooped up for quite some time because I was so sick. So my husband was like, okay, let's do it. Let's get in the car and let's do this. And so we got in the car and we're driving up and we're coming around the corner, and I just remember feeling so weak and so sick and so in such a like dark state. And we came around the bend, and I just remember that all of a sudden the sun was coming through, and the mountains and the energy around me just started to like almost breathe life back into me. And everything turned from this black and white, this depressing place, to like color. And it was like almost like I could start to feel like, oh my gosh, I can breathe again. I'm coming out of this place. And it was something so subtle. And if you know energy work, then you'll kind of understand it a little bit better. But it was such a subtle shift, but enough for me to start to feel that life back, you know, life breathing back in me again. So as we went, there was this one area that I don't know what it was, but there was something about the energy in this one specific area. So throughout the beginning parts of my recovery, we would make trips, 3-hour trips back and forth. So 6 hours of driving in total a day. And we'd go back and forth every couple of weeks, every month, every time that I felt like I needed to fill myself back up. And this earth, the earth itself, the sun, the water, the mountains, the dirt, my feet in the dirt, everything, the trees, everything brought life back to me. And I used to call it the sacred lands. And I'd always say, you know, we need to go back to the sacred lands. And for me, it was a sacred place because I really believe that it healed me on such a more expansive level I can't explain. So that's part of the title will be Sacred Earth, because that is what healed me, and that's what helped me create this. It helped me to get the courage to go to yoga training. It helped me to get the courage to do the things I needed to do to get better so that I could create and I could do what my calling is, what my dharma is, right? And then I wanted to have healing in there because for me, it's always been about the healing journey, right? Healing the past, healing past traumas, and healing these limiting beliefs, healing, you know, the parts of ourselves, you know, that are broken that we forgot about. So healing had to be in there. And then arts. Arts was the end. So it's Sacred Earth Healing Arts. And arts to me covers everything that I want to offer. Because I'm not just yoga, I'm not just meditation, I'm not just Reiki, I am an artist, I am a writer, I am so many more things. So I want to be able to have something where it encompasses all those things. So that is going to be the new name, so Sacred Earth Healing Arts. And it's still going to be the same old me doing yoga and fun stuff and adventures and all that. But it was time to say goodbye to Earth Connections and to begin something new. And my heart feels so good about it. So even though it is always sad to say goodbye to something, I'm very excited for the future, and I'm so excited to launch some of these things. So definitely keep an eye open, guys. I will be sharing my website once it's up and going completely, and all the things that will be on it, and there's going to be so many fun new things. So anyways, so that's kind of this video. So now that that's out there, I will be sharing more the YouTube stuff on Facebook and I'll connect the names so you guys aren't too confused on what's going on. So today, just be gentle with yourself on your practice. You know, Shavasana is a hard one. That's, you know, why I've struggled with it in the past, because it is a part of facing some of those things that are hard to face and let go of. But just remember, even though you're having those releases, there's always new beginnings. Death always brings new beginnings. So, you know, it's okay to grieve. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to know that you have to let go of something to create room for something. But knowing that there is so much light and there's so much beauty and there's so much, you know, so much more for you to go through when you make that space, when you make that room, right? Then all of a sudden all these things come in and you go, oh my gosh, you know, this is what it's all about, right? This is what I've needed. This is where I need to go, and you just create room for vision and inspiration and manifestation. So anyways, I hope that all makes sense to you guys. And yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day. And tomorrow I'm going to try to do a little bit of a balance, tips on how to find balance, and working with kind of the leg muscles and stuff. So watch out for that. It will be an actual yoga practice tomorrow. And yeah, get on your mat for 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever you guys can do today, and enjoy every minute of it. All right. Lots of love, guys. We will see you guys tomorrow.